morning very well. I think already Professor Gupta has mentioned about my topic. Today's topic of discussion will be curriculum design models. It's my proud privilege to be the part of this particular program, and I shall be discussing with you, I shall be interacting with you, and all of you are requested to please participate in the discussion. So this topic is curriculum design models. Friends, already you are well aware of curriculum. I think the moment we are talking of the curriculum, everybody is well aware of that fact. That curriculum is there, transactions are there, curriculum evaluation is there, and ultimately, after having this input of the curriculum, we are having output of student achievement. So the whole process, the curriculum process, already you are aware. Professor Gupta already mentioned about that what is curriculum. With a little bit background of curriculum, I would like to start this particular session. Let me open my presentation. Can you see my slide? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So again, I would like to reiterate what Professor Gupta already mentioned with you, that whenever we are talking of this word curriculum, it's nothing but a document. And document where descriptions are about a structured series of learning objectives and outcomes for a given subject matter area. I think all of you have seen this curriculum document and you are well aware of your subject area also. So you just club both these things together, that in a particular subject area, let's say strength of the material, you are having curriculum, and this curriculum is nothing but a structured series of learning objectives and outcomes. And when we go a little further, I would like to say that it includes what it includes is specification of what should we learn, that is objectives or outcomes, how it should be taught. So just go on adding like that. Curriculum is not just a document of content. Curriculum is not just content part, it includes many more things. So curriculum means content, of course. With this content, we are also getting what it should be taught and how it should be taught, and then plan for implementing and assessing the learning. So whole process of teaching learning is described in the curriculum. That's why we say curriculum is a little bigger part of that, but we call it as a syllabus. So there is a difference between curriculum and syllabus. Syllabus is just content part. Curriculum is wherein you are having not only what is to be taught and how it is to be taught and how it is to be evaluated also, that whatever they have learned during the process of teaching learning. So just look at this. Sorry. Again, if we go little further, then we would like to say that curriculum is again wherein we are having intended aims, wherein we are having intended objectives, wherein we are having content part, experiences, outcomes, and processes of the educational program. How it will be conducted, at what places it will be conducted. So all this is forming the part of the curriculum. I am not going into the details of each and every component of that curriculum, but you are well aware that I am just giving you a clue that whenever I am talking of the curriculum model means wherein everything is there, wherein all these components are there. So curriculum means intended objectives are there, what is to be taught, how is to be taught, and then how it is to be evaluated also. All this is forming the part of the curriculum. Length also there, education structure is there, how much flexibility we are providing in the curriculum, what courses are suggested in the curriculum, what are the compulsory courses, what are the optional courses, how many credits are awarded to each part of the course. Likewise we are having, and then expected methods also it is there. So how it is to be dealt with, where it is to be dealt with. Where means lab, whether in lab or in workshop or in classroom or in field or in some other places also. So all these things are forming the part which is known as curriculum. Now coming to my topic, you have, I think curriculum is not just one word. It encompassing many things, and many things. When we say there are variety of models of curriculum, and what is this model? Let's look at this curriculum model, that it is a format or a philosophy behind the development of the curriculum. So whenever we are in the process of designing and developing a curriculum of any program, of any course, there is a philosophy behind the development of the curriculum. There is a format of, or there is an approach through which we are designing, we are developing curriculum document. And this document is for to meet unique needs, context and purposes. So each philosophy is carrying with unique needs. Each philosophy or approach is carrying with context. Each philosophy is having its peculiar purposes also. And that's why we say there are variety of curriculum models available in the literature, and each one is important. Each one is important with respect to what? With respect to its unique need, because they are designed based on the unique needs of the client. They are designed based on the unique context of the client. They are designed on the basis of unique purposes for which it is needed. So looking into the requirement of the purpose, looking into the context where it is to be implemented, we are having variety of curriculum models. And today my topic of discussion will be, we will be discussing one or two models of curriculum which are forming the basic philosophy of development of that particular type of the curriculum. I think just to name few, they are not just all. Just to name few, what I would like to say is there are famous models. They are famous models of curriculum development and designing. One of the famous model is Taylor's model. Another one is Hilda Tawa's model. They are the very popular curriculum models based on which we are designing, we are developing our curriculum. Taylor's model, Alexander and Lewis model, and then Oliva model. And today my point of discussion will be Taylor or Tawa's model. Basically, I will be concentrating on one of the very popular model, that is Hilda Tawa model, which is forming the basis, which is one of the basis for developing curriculum and designing curriculum of our group. Particularly, it is quite useful in technical education area also. Yeah. If these are the models available now, there can be variety of curriculum designing angles. There can be curriculum designing basis also. So you might have seen your curriculum wherein you are having subject based as curriculum development model. So subject base is there, teacher centered curriculum is there, learner centered curriculum is there, activity or experience centered curriculum is also there, and you may find integrated curriculum also. You may think of core curriculum also, you may think of broad field curriculum, and you may think of hidden curriculum. All these are different varieties of models available for curriculum development and designing. And the basis is, again, let me repeat it, basis is that curriculum is subject specific, wherein you are dissecting each and every subject and you are putting in one course, putting in one course of the curriculum, that these are the content part we will be covering in this particular curriculum. So when curriculum is having subject basis, subject is getting prime importance, subject is central to that importance, we call it as subject based curriculum. Likewise, when teacher is in the focus, it's not that other parts are not focused, but we are concentrating more on teacher part. When teacher is centered in that curriculum, when activities of the curriculum are revolving around the teacher, we call it as a teacher-centered curriculum. Likewise, learner-centered curriculum, wherein learner is important, learner is given prime importance. As already told you, curriculum models are philosophies. So, in the first one, philosophy is subject basis is there, subject centering is there. Second one, teacher centered, teacher is centered, teacher is forming the core element of that curriculum. Teacher is responsible for conducting, implementing that particular curriculum. Likewise, in learner-centered curriculum, learner is at the center of the curriculum. All the activities, all the curriculum implementation is moving, is revolving around the learner. Focus is on the learner. So everything is concentrating with respect to the learner. Learner conduct that activities of the curriculum implementation. Likewise, in activity or experience-based curriculum, activity is at the center. Whosoever is conducting that activity, whether teacher is conducting that activity or learner is conducting that activity, activity is at the center of the implementation of the curriculum. Likewise, we can think of integrated curriculum also, wherein more elements are integrated together and we are forming that curriculum. Likewise, core curriculum is there, broad field, sorry, broad field name, it is broad field, and then hidden curriculum is also there. So all these are variety of curriculum you might have come across while looking at the document of the curriculum in different part of the country, from school education to this technical education. You might have seen variety of curriculum, and all these curriculums you can say that can fall under one of these categories. Now let's coming to the very popular model of the curriculum development and design, and that is Taylor's model. That is one of the very popular, best known model of the curriculum development. Here, what is important is planning is occupying a central point. Planning is giving special attention. So if planning is proper, this curriculum model is based on the philosophy wherein we give planning due importance, wherein planning is more and more important, and they believe in the philosophy that if we have planned that curriculum, we have planned that implementation of the curriculum properly, I think implementation, and they believe that implementation is more and more proper. It proceeds from general to specific. Deductive model is there. So this particular Taylor's model is referring to the deductive model of the curriculum development. It proceeds from the general. It means, what exactly is the meaning of that? That whenever we are designing a curriculum based on Taylor's model, we start with general. And by general, I mean to say is we start with examining the needs of the society, what society is needing, what this country is needing for our students, how education is to be delivered in this particular country, what is the focus of this country. So looking into society's need, actually we are starting this curriculum development activity. So at the top of that is need of the society, and then we come to the specifying instructional objectives as we are having in all the curriculum documents. Either we are defining that objectives or we are having outcomes nowadays in our discussion. Let's think of Taylor's model of curriculum development. It starts already I have mentioned about that whenever we are designing or developing a curriculum of any particular course, we start with setting of the objectives. Means what educational purposes should the institution seek to attain. That is, we, as already I have mentioned, the philosophy behind this Taylor's model is we start with social needs, we start with country's needs, we start with that what exactly we are needing at this point of time. And that's why we say this curriculum process starts with setting of the objectives, wherein we are having that what educational purposes should the institution seek to attain. And then here we are talking of institution means whosoever is conducting this curriculum, whosoever is implementing that curriculum. So starting point is educational purposes. Then looking into those educational purposes, what educational experiences one has to provide to attain those purposes. Again, looking into the very purpose for which we have started designing this curriculum, we come to setting learning experience and content part, because learning experiences are through content only. So setting objectives, then boiling down to deciding about the content, sub-content of that curriculum, and then how learning experiences will be created in that. So based on the purpose that we would like to achieve these purposes, we arrive at content part of that, or the learning experiences. In educational parlance, we say that content means educational experiences which we would like to provide to our learners, we would like to provide to our students also. So what type of learning experiences are required to attain those purposes for which we have started designing that particular type of curriculum? And how these educational experiences be effectively organized, how these educational experiences can be effectively organized. So total Taylor model, the philosophy behind this particular model of curriculum development is based on from general to specific, from what is the purpose, what is the need of the society, to boiling down to deciding about the content, deciding about the learning experiences, deciding about what type of learning experiences are more and more effective to digest by the student, or how one can have fruitful learning by way of providing educational experiences, learning experiences to our students. And then ultimately, as already I have mentioned, that curriculum document is providing you purpose, objective, learning experience or the content, and organization of the learning experience, and ultimately it is coming to the evaluation or examination part. So curriculum process, curriculum document is also showing you, also giving you clues about that how you will try to satisfy yourself that whatever you have decided, whatever purposes for which you have started designing your curriculum, whether you are achieving that objective or not, that is what we call it as evaluation or the examination of that. So again, let me repeat it. Whenever we are talking of Taylor's model of curriculum development, it starts with the very purpose. We start with looking at the social needs, our country's need. For example, I can say that our country is a democratic country. So we would like to create democratic citizenship in our learners. We would like to create the type of learning who are fitting into our democratic country, that is social need. So from there we are starting and looking into that purpose and the requirement of the subject. We are saying content, learning experiences, and then properly organizing those learning experience, and ultimately we are looking at how one can evaluate, one can see whether we have achieved those learning objectives or whether we are still demanding that learning objective. So how to fine tune our learning experiences, how to effectively organize our learning experiences. This is what we would like to see when we are in the process of evaluation. Every model, maybe context may be different, maybe philosophy behind that development may be different, and every model is having some advantages and some disadvantages also, because it is contextual, because it is situational. So if you look at this Taylor's model, it is a very easy step, and starting from curriculum planning and development process. It starts with clear objectives, and I think all of you will agree with me that if we are having clearly set objectives in front of all of us, probably the coming path will be easy for following. Particular path will be easy for all of us. We are already knowing that these are the objectives, these are the very purposes of designing this particular curriculum. So how to achieve that? Effectively organizing learning experience will be much easier. And this Taylor's model is best in that sense, that it is giving due importance to the planning part, and it is starting with clearly defined objectives. So next steps are very easy. I think in today's context, if you analyze that Taylor's objective model, the first and immediate reflection will come to you is that we are restricting our learners, we are restricting our students to learn what we are saying. So indirectly directing, we are limiting content part. We are not allowing flexibility to our students to learn the way they like. So this is one of the limitation, one of the disadvantage you can say this particular model is having. It doesn't indicate who decides what is worthwhile learning. Everything is pre-decided there in Taylor's model. It fails to consider the changing environment. I think all of you must be agreeing with me that in present changing environment where learning is increasing at a higher rate, where knowledge is increasing at an exponential rate, environment is frequently changing. Now we are talking of ICT, we are talking of robotics, we are talking of coding, decoding, we are talking of artificial intelligence. With this changing environment, how much it is good to have a static content, already pre-decided content, which is philosophy of Taylor's model. So directly, it fails to consider the changing environment. It is one of the static model to be implemented. And future needs also it is not taking into consideration. That's why we say Taylor's model is nowadays not very relevant, because we don't know exponential rate is changed. So with that fast changing environment, we have to gear up with the changes, and we have to change our content part. In earlier days, we used to say that curriculum revision or curriculum evaluation should be done after 3 years. Now, time has come that curriculum evaluation process should take place every year, because content is changing at the fast rate. Our situations are changing at the fast. And in that context, if we look at Taylor's model, I think all of you will agree with me that Taylor's model is little static model, giving us, of course, it is having advantages also of better planning. It is having advantage of having pre-decided objectives, purposes also, but changes are little slow in that particular based model. If you look at another model, I will be discussing with you Taylor and Tawas, both these models only. So the next model is Hilda Tawa model. It is also one of the very popular model. If you look at any of the curriculum development design book, theory books, if you refer, always you will find that this model is given much more importance when we are talking of curriculum development and designing part. According to this particular model, Tawa believed it is just the extension of the Taylor's model. One needs to ask what demands and requirements of the culture and society both are, both for the present and the future also to be taken into consideration. So it is not just that what we require today. This is further extension of Taylor's model, wherein Tawa mentioned about and believes that we have to look in the present as well as in the future also. Because curriculum, according to the Hilda Tawa, is way of preparing young people to participate in our culture. Yes, both these models are giving importance to the society, but it is a step further, wherein it is looking further, far further also. So present as well future is to be considered while designing a curriculum, while taking into account the philosophy of the curriculum development. That is what Hilda Tawa believes in that. Earlier model, Taylor's model was based on deductive approach. This model is based on inductive approach. And that model was based on learner-centered approach. This model is based on teacher-centered approach. Tawa believes that teachers are well aware of the students' need and they should be given free hand to develop that particular model. They should be allowed to arrive at the content part and learning experience which are to be provided to students for particular purposes, because teachers are more aware of students' need than students themselves. So they say main idea of this approach is that need of the students are at the forefront of the curriculum, and this need is to be arrived at with the help of the teacher, because teacher is the best judge to judge the need of the learner. So let teacher be given free hand to decide about the need, but definitely a step further of the Taylor's model, wherein they are saying it is not only looking for the future, it should also take care of the future also, not only present one. So present as well as future is to be considered while developing, while arriving at the content part, while arriving at the learning experiences also. Look at the difference. There we started with society's need. Now here diagnosis is required. So what they are saying is, let's analyze what exactly this society present and in future will be requiring from our learners to live in the society where they are. So first, diagnosis is necessary before embarking upon development of any content part, because before arriving at the content part, let's diagnosis diagnose the need of the learner first. What society is needing, we start our diagnosis process first, and then we should start formulating objectives. And once we have decided to formulate objectives, once we have arrived at the purposes of the curriculum development, once we have arrived at the purpose of the course for which we are developing this curriculum, look at selection of the content. So diagnosis of the need, a backward step further, then arriving at the objectives, and then based on those objectives, because we would like to achieve these objectives, we would like to attain these objectives. So what content is required? Again, selecting content based on that purpose or objective, and then organizing that content. I think if you might have seen the content analysis process, content analysis is wherein we are organizing the content into key concepts, main ideas, and the facts and figures also. And based on what we would like to develop in our learner, what key concepts, what main ideas, what facts we would like to develop in our student, what processes, what principles or what laws we would like to develop in our students, we select learning experience, that how to develop those concepts and ideas which we require to develop in our learners. So curriculum process is having next step wherein we are selecting learning experiences based on the requirement, based on the organization of the content, and this content organization is based on the content part which we have decided that we have identified for our learners for that particular course requirement. And ultimately, not only selecting learning experiences, but organizing learning experiences. And I think all of you must be aware that whenever we are organizing learning experiences, we always try to refer to Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy, wherein we are trying to say three domains of learning, they are there. Means whenever learning is taking place, whenever learning experiences are to be organized, these learning experiences are to be organized around three domains of learning. Any type of learning you believe, this will fall either in cognitive domain, or in affective domain, or in psychomotor domain. So organizing learning experience means deciding about, identifying about the teaching strategies for the development of cognitive domain, for the development of affective domain, and not only for the development of cognitive and affective domain, but also for the development of psychomotor domain, wherein we are talking of skill development, which is one of the very important part of the technical area. So this particular TAVA model is based on, or starting with the diagnosis of the need, formulating objective based on the need, selecting the content based on whatever objectives we have formulated and whatever objectives we would like to develop in our learners, and then ultimately organizing, selecting proper learning experiences, and not only selecting but giving due importance to those learning experiences, and ultimately again boiling down to evaluation, wherein we would like to see the worth of providing those learning experience, whether those learning experiences which we have provided to our learners are really helpful in having the proper learning in our students, whether whatever learning experiences we have provided to our learners for developing those objectives for which we have started our curriculum process, whether they are being achieved by our learners or not. That is what evaluation process is. That is where we try to conduct examination, and this examination, let me repeat it again and again, is to see to what extent we are able to achieve our learning objectives which we have decided in that particular course. Whether we are following Tilda-Tawa model or we are talking of Taylor's model, whatever model, design model we may be talking of, everywhere whole teaching processes, whole learning processes, whole learning experiences are to be organized for attainment of those objectives decided by this. So again, evaluation processes. This whole model is having these components. Again, I am repeating: diagnosis, formulating objectives, selecting content, organizing content, selecting learning experiences, and organizing learning. They are in that sequence only. So that is what Tawa model is, an extension of the Taylor's model, wherein we are not diagnosing needs of the learners, we are not diagnosing the needs of the society to arrive at or to formulate our objective. Just try to absorb these slides. Already I have mentioned that this TAWA model, if we are developing our curriculum based on TAWA model, then greater autonomy, greater role is there for implementation of the curriculum for the teachers. That means teachers are being provided with more opportunity to implement it properly. It is teacher-based model again, and it is based on the premise that students' needs are better known by the teacher. And that's why it should play an important role in developing the curriculum. Both these models, whether we talk of Taylor's model or we talk of Tawa's model, both these models, they are giving importance to objectives in order to establish the sense of purpose for deciding what to include, exclude, and emphasize in the curriculum. Means content is to be arrived at in both these models. Content is to be arrived at based on what are our different purposes, what are our different outcomes for learning we have decided for the course. Same diagram. Look at the diagram that teacher input is there. Teacher input is very important in Tawa's model. Teacher is the sole person, sole developer of the curriculum, and teacher's role is given more importance as compared to any other model of the curriculum development. In this particular model, teacher's role is assuming much significance, and teacher is diagnosing the need, formulating objectives, selecting content, then again organizing the content, then again selection of the activities are also solely based on the teacher. What type of activities are to be conducted, what type of activities are to be planned for that, whether we talk of the curriculum or even implementation also, teacher's role is assuming much more significance than in any other person's role. So organization from diagnosis to organization of learning activities to evaluation, teacher's input is very important. Teacher's input is required, and that is what in all the angles look at. Teacher's input is much more significant. That is what Tawa's curriculum development model is. I think because of significance of this particular model, It is currently used in most curriculum designs. It is better for identifying the needs of the learning from the point of view of the teacher. So teachers are identifying the needs of the learner. It is better for developing objective. It is better for selecting suitable, proper and appropriate instructional method suited to the requirement of development of the specified learning objectives or learning outcomes. Now, if we look at both these type of models, you will find that models basically how to differentiate. Already I have mentioned with you, Taylor's model is based on deductive approach, whereas Tawa's model is based on inductive approach. This Taylor's model argues from the administrator's point of view. Approach is administrator, approach is curriculum designer is deciding everything. But here in Tawa's model, teacher is responsible for deciding many. This Taylor's model believes in that administration should design the curriculum and teacher should implement. They are two different elements. In Taylor's model, teacher is different and administrator is different. That means curriculum planner, they are different than teachers. But in Tawa's model, teacher and curriculum planner or designer or administrator, they are the same person. Whosoever is developing that curriculum is also implementer of that curriculum. So look at the difference in both these. Taylor says some other person should decide the curriculum and teacher should implement the curriculum based on what has been decided. Whereas in Tawa's model, teacher is developer as well as implementer also. So both things same. Lays main stress on aims, evaluation and control. Now in Tawa's model, we are not starting directly with objectives. We are first analyzing, diagnosing the need of the society, and then we are arriving at objectives. So see, their diagnosis is there, in Taylor's direct jumping on the objectives is there. Now, you may say then why we are talking of Taylor's model. It's not that Taylor's model is not relevant in present context also. There are some different contexts also wherein Taylor's model is important. There are some different contexts wherein Tawa's model is used. But if we look at our college situations, our technical education situation, in today's context, Tawa's model is much more significant than Taylor's model because this is perhaps market-oriented education. In those days, in traditional days wherein we talk of education as market-oriented, what is the demand of the market? Learners were not considered in the center of that learning. In those days, Taylor's model was relevant. Context was entirely different. Now context is entirely different. And that's why we say that Tawa model is more popular nowadays, more implementable nowadays compared to Taylor's model. So this is something about Taylor's and Tawa's model. Sorry, I missed that part. So this is where we are having comparison between Taylor and Tawa's model, and both these models are relevant but in different contexts, in different situations they are important. Nowadays we are having outcome based model of curriculum development also, wherein we are arriving at, in earlier days we used to have objectives, now we are trying to have outcomes. So this is something about these two types of the models based on different philosophies of curriculum development and design part. And any question if you want to ask, please feel free.